What's going on, Call of Duty fans? Today we're reacting to Octane's new top 5 rankings for Modern Warfare 3. I'm going to link his video down below. Big shout out to him, as well as shout out to Kenny. I saw he also reacted to this. I figured why not record a reaction? I mean, if no one watches it, it is what it is. But let's just hop right in and see what Octane has for our rankings.
Without further ado, let's get started. Number one on the list with absolutely zero personal bias taken is going to be Ken from Optic Texas.
Now, so he's starting out with Kenny. I mean, I 100% agree. I think at this point in the league, Kenny is definitely top 5 through the first 2 weeks. I mean, the dude's doing everything. He's putting up slaying numbers. He's hitting rotations. He's breaking hills. He's holding hills. I mean, Kenny's actually doing everything for this Optic team. And I would say right now is the best player on that team through the first 2 weeks. So I definitely think he has to be in the top 5. So without a doubt, I definitely agree with
Ken over the offseason. I'm not getting into
look at this clip. I mean, that 3-piece, almost 4-piece here was crazy.
His roster move over to Optic Texas was pretty highly scrutinized for good and bad reasons. A lot of people think that they should have went a different route, either keeping Dan, maybe picking up Sib.
Octane's right though. People were really talking a lot of crap about Kenny to Optic, and he's proven everyone wrong to start the season.
We're happy with Kev. Ken is flowers.
I'm genuinely, like, listen, I love Kenny. Obviously, I'm an LA Thieves fan. He won us a world championship. I know how good he is, and I thought this was a great pickup for Optic. But I'm genuinely surprised at how good he looks. Like, I knew he was going to be good, but I thought he wasn't going to be the best player on the team. I figured the other guys are going to be going crazy, slaying, which, I mean, they kind of are. Like, they're all slaying in all different game modes. But I definitely didn't expect Kenny to look this good in MW3.
Barring AG or Pred, but
there's KD numbers right now, I guess. So he's got a 1.1, so he's number 12 overall. Number 3 in hardpoint, and then obviously control, he's under a 1, but like, who really cares? Honestly, I mean, come on. Number 12 overall KD, number 3 in hardpoint is not what anyone expected or like expected, I guess, is the best word. It's not what anyone expected to see out of Kenny, especially on this Optic team. So major shout out.
Or at least top 5 for sure. Now for number 2 on my list, we are going to the red side of the CDL for Simp. Now, Chris,
he's got Simp at number 2. I don't know if he's doing these in order or not. I don't think he specifically said. Considering he started at 1, I don't know. I don't know if he's doing it in order, but Simp obviously in the top 5, 100%. The dude is my front runner for MVP through the first 2 weeks of the season. I mean, what else is there really to say about Simp? He's simping 150 health games
up on this list. He has essentially an MVP form already, like 4 matches in.
These are Simp's KD numbers. Number 2 overall. He is tied with Celium, so I guess they're like tied for 1. But I mean, every single game mode, he's at a 1.24 or higher. It's insane. It is also crazy to see how the KDs are rising throughout the years, though. I mean, I know we're only 2 weeks into the game, and things will probably balance out as teams figure out the game, and, you know, the teams that are ahead might come back down to earth a little bit, but you know, Celium putting up a 1.2 was seen as crazy like 2 years ago. Now, I mean, Simp has a 1.27 in search, and he's number 8. I know they haven't played a lot of searches, but like when you look at some of these KDs, I feel like we're going to continue to see KDs rise. We might see guys with like a 0.28, 0.3 by the end of this year as like the top dudes.
He's doing. Not everybody has the same strength of schedule going through 4 games. I believe they've played Boston, Seattle.
Exactly what he just said. The strength of schedule through 2 weeks is not enough of a sample size. If he was doing this after Major 1 or after Major 2, obviously it's a lot more credible because you have more matches to look at for people. But exactly what he said about strength of schedule, it's very, very hard to judge because the top teams haven't all played each other. So
and LAT.
He's 100% right. But we're not supposed to take this that
Seattle
seriously.
actually
it is only after
fairly
2
decent
weeks.
phase. Moving on to number 3 on the list, which is actually, I think, a shock to 99.9% of the people watching this video. That's been Medals from the Miami Heretic.
All right, he's got Medals at number 3. He says a shock to 99% of people. Maybe I'm in the 1%. I don't think this is a shock. I mean, through the first 3 weeks or 2 weeks, this guy has looked insane. The slaying numbers he's putting up, the amount of, you know, engagements, pace, damage he's putting up around the map is awesome. And obviously, Heretics are 3-0. So I don't think through the first 2 weeks it's a shock. Now, obviously, like we just talked about strength of schedule, they haven't played a top team. They've actually beat the 3 teams I would have as the bottom 3 right now. But, you know, we can only go off of what we've seen, not what we haven't seen. So I'm not going to discredit Medals. So I'm glad he has them here.
Genuinely, Miami's leaving no room for interpretation, no room for discussion. They are putting the teams down that they should be beating. And I want to.
That's another thing people don't talk about enough. This goes in any sport or esport. If you want to be a top team, you have to beat the bottom half teams or the teams that are considered to be under you. And Miami's not, I mean, it's not even close really. Like they're really working. I mean, they've only dropped what I think 2 maps this entire year. They're really doing good. Some of the maps are close. That seems to be the nature of Modern Warfare 3 and just COD in general, obviously. But Miami is playing really, really well. So just because they've played bottom teams, it just does go to show you that they're at least a top half team in the
I'm
league.
gonna give Metals his flower far
Yeah.
in the city.
So what Sam just said is 100% right. He's the only person with a 20k damage in a series so far, which is really cool to see. You can look at the KD numbers, number 3 overall, top 10 in every other category. Yeah, I mean, this dude is he's playing so good in every single game mode. He's doing everything that needs to be done for his team. And I'm very glad to see one of these guys in the top 5 because I think he deserves it for the
across
first
the
2
map.
weeks.
At number 4 on the list, we are going to go with Pred again from
All right,
Austin,
he's
Texas.
got Pred at number 4. I mean, I agree. Pred is definitely in great consideration for top 5. The dude is playing insane. There's a lot of players doing really good through the first 2 weeks.
I cannot put him on here. I think since their second
Pred
series,
is
he's been positive like 9 straight maps. So I'm happy to see Pred in a spot.
All right, we got Pred's stats. There's 2 extremely surprising stats on here. Obviously, SND 0.91 is very surprising considering Pred is probably. I think he was probably top 3 last year in SND. I think I even gave him SND Player of the Year last year because of how good he was on a Seattle Surge team that was really bad at SND. And he's also 1.52 in control, which is absolutely insane, especially considering control is probably the game mode KD matters the most. Because of you'd have a certain amount of lives, obviously, in a game of control. Yeah, I mean, these numbers are crazy. And also, I know I'm cutting some of the parts of the video. If you want to watch Sam's whole video and you haven't seen it already, definitely click the link in the description. I don't want to take away people that should be watching his direct video just because they're watching mine or another reaction. So definitely check out Sam's full video if you want to see the whole thing.
Number 5 on the list is a spot of contention.
5.
Definitely, I'm going to put Toby Kleenex on here. I know
He's
there's
got
going to be a case
Kleenex at number 5
for the New York Subliners. I do not have any New York players on here, but I also want to give a shout out to Dylan Attach because he has been playing unbelievable.
Okay.
Although
definitely
unexpected, got absolutely no semblance of ice on that roster. But
definitely expected. So he gave us a Kleenex, which I do think Kleenex is somewhat deserving. He mentioned Hydra. He mentioned Attach as people that could also be given the flowers. I know the way Octane also does these things is he tries to give his flowers to people that maybe the fans don't necessarily value enough because as a player, he knows what to look out for. He knows what these guys are capable of. So I do like how he uses these spots and does these sorts of things. Kleenex, I think, as a case for it, obviously, as someone who doesn't play, who's in a competitive player, isn't an ex-competitive player, I probably would have leaned the way of maybe Hydra or Sky, someone on the subliners, considering they are undefeated, or maybe even someone like Celium. But I do think Kleenex is also a pretty deserving player because he does.
But I'm going to put Toby on here
some insane things on the map.
He plays one of the hardest roles in this entire game in an AR-based world on these maps, and he is the picture of consistency for the Ultra this year.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you're ranking players and you're not really considering how good their teams are doing, Kleenex is definitely up there. Like you just said, he plays the hardest role in the game. He does it super consistent. But obviously, Toronto's the only top 4 team to lose to a team outside the top 4, being Boston Breach. So that's why I probably, if you're considering team play, would have went the way of maybe Hydra at 5. Just because NYSL are undefeated, although they have looked a little bit shaky in a couple of their series. But like I've been saying, I do think Kleenex is 100% deserving.
Toby's been a literal
to
picture of consistency.
Off the top. All right, let's see his stats. I mean, number 9 in overall KD. Honestly, I mean, you look at these numbers are literally not what you expect out of Kleenex. You expect like a 1.0 out of Kleenex, considering the pace he sets and the role he plays on his team. So the fact that he's putting up a 1.1 over a 1.1 in every game mode is absolutely insane. Like we've been saying, small sample size. I'm sure he'll come back down a little bit, but who knows? This might be a Kleenex like MVP type of season. It might be his time on this Ultra.
Top of my head,
but yeah, that is Sam's video. Definitely check out his video, like I've been saying. Even if you've watched it, make sure you at least went over and liked the video. He's got 30k views, only 1.3k likes. So everyone head over and drop a like on Octane's video for sure. It is in the description. If you have any other videos you want me to react to, it's just a chill type of content I could just make here and there. So definitely let me know if there's any content you want to see me do a reaction video to. But yeah, with that being said, hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.